You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast. Starring Pete Ruggieri, Larry Maris, and Jason Lewis. This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. So sit back and enjoy some Masonic conversation without pretension. And now, here's your hosts, Pete, Larry, and Jason.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're not welcome back. We're back. The Masonic Light Podcast, episode 21.
22.
Episode 22.
23.
And
22.
We are
24.
at Larry Maris's house once again, who's still recovering from his shoulder surgery. Say hi, Larry.
Hello, Larry.
And I'm here also with Jack Harley
Wow.
and Jason Lewis.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about this week a wonderful topic that Larry came up with. Larry, what's your topic again?
Well, I'm going to give some credit to Larry Hudson, worshipful brother, as they would say in Australia, for keying off. He sent last week a whole list of records of things that should be given to new members. And it's very organized, meticulous. Now, I also think that there are pieces for various lodges that do things. I think he collectively put them together. But it lays out like the duties of officers, what the senior warden does, where he sits, why they do what they do. Also, he lays out in big detail the different dependent lodges, different dependent organizations within Freemasonry. He gives names, addresses, phone numbers of people to contact, tells what they're about. So a lot of detail work went into this. And for a new member, this is phenomenal. Also, the part of it is the Master Mason program, the education program. There's several pages on that alone, on how that's becoming almost curriculum for new members now, and they're very much involved.
So now that you've rambled for 5 minutes, let's answer the question.
That would be mentoring, Pete.
Our topic is mentoring
Thank
this
you very
episode.
much.
Okay,
There
yes.
we go.
The topic tonight is mentoring.
For God's sake.
And how mentoring can build the craft.
And Larry's back.
As you can tell, he's fine now.
He's feeling good.
And we still sound a little funny because we're in Larry's dining room with our portable rig.
big dumb microphone instead of our private sexy microphones that touch our faces.
Oh, jeez.
So mentoring. So Larry, since you're the
Well, shouldn't we go around the room with the week?
okay, I
We
forgot.
have a schedule.
Yeah, I almost forgot.
And we haven't done this since we recorded just a few days before
Christmas.
So
And
yeah.
it was not extremely organized, and there was a lot of drinking going on both ends.
Larry, so
Yes.
what have you done since our last broadcast?
Nothing.
He's healing. That's big.
I'm healing.
You're healing.
I'm healing. And I'm reading the Masonic Word. No, I'm not. I was laying in bed and sleeping.
Jason?
Well, tell us how the shoulder's doing before.
The shoulder's doing very well. Physical therapy's here a couple days a week, and I'm starting to move beyond what they can do for me here at the house. Doctors are pleased. I'm on schedule. Hopefully by the end of the month, I will have this out, and I'll be hanging my
He's
arm.
referring to his sling, since you
Yeah.
guys don't have a camera.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
When you say you're going to have this out, it's
Yeah.
kind of scary.
For you new listeners, I had shoulder replacement surgery, and I got a new shoulder in there, so ready to go. It's doing well. It's doing very well.
Well, you shot me a message and said you were very excited that you were about to go take a shower without assistance the other day.
That's right.
How did that go?
Went well.
Not nearly as much fun.
I'm excited though because your other arm apparently works fine because you keep smacking the table. you guys can't hear it without the headphones, but it sounds like a shotgun going off.
Jason, what have you had going on in the past 14 days or whatever today's
Oh no, it's
date
been
is?
a while. It's been what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks, yeah.
The holiday, which was the holiday. It was fun. Christmas was good. New Year's was good.
And you have little kids, so it's kind of a big deal.
And my littlest kid's birthday is the 29th of December, so I had Christmas, birthday party, New Year's. Yeah, so it was quite the adventure. Masonically, dues seasons. Somebody in my lodge put a typo in the dues cards. the secretary, which is me. So I had to rerun the dues cards, and
Nice.
I'm in the process of paying my 17-year-old to stuff all the envelopes and get those all put together, and had to send a big message out to the craft that their dues cards are going to be delayed or replaced. Aside from that, I think that's... Oh, I went to your lodge's meeting. I went to Lamberton's meeting where we gave away... Lodge 43 gave away the traveling gavel. We spoke about taking it at the last meeting, or I'm sorry, at the last episode, but we gave it away at Lamberton's meeting last week.
So you basically, but you went because there was chicken and waffles.
I went because I wanted to help give away the gavel, but then I was invited to dinner by Scott Hoover. And I also had my kids that night, and so I brought my kids, and they had dinner with us as well.
Alrighty. Jack, you've had a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, we had our open installation of officers, which I guess everybody had their open installation of officers.
Yes, yeah.
Was
we
that
did.
since the last podcast?
Mine had
That would have
happened.
been before.
Yeah.
So anyway, there was that. Pete, you and I went the other night to a past Masters Night dinner. Not for our district, because our district doesn't do that yet.
We may steal that concept.
Well, I think that's going to happen.
I just don't want to bring it up because
Yeah.
then I'll be in charge of it.
Yeah, exactly. No eye contact. So that was kind of nice to get together with past masters from District 1 and District 5 at District 5's past masters night at the Moose Lodge, because the mooses are allowed to have alcoholic beverages at their meetings. So it was a nice night. It was a good time. Colder than a well digger's ass, but it was good. So other than that, we're just getting ready to start the new year. We've got a few changes in our lodge. Everybody in the chairs has moved up one, which is good.
Did you stay on as treasurer again?
I did. We have a fellow that was willing to take it on. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give up treasurer and become a steward and take care of the food and the parties. But the fellow that was willing to step up to be treasurer is spanking new. I don't even know that he's been to a stated meeting yet. So we decided it would be better if I carried it one more year, sort of brought him on and trained him through the year, and then turned it over to him at the end of next year. So a little smoother transition that way. But in the meantime, we don't have plates or silverware in our fellowship hall. So that's me.
I think I've pretty much hidden from the Masonic things as best I could. After the holidays, I went out to see my family in Indiana, which was pretty boring. So if we have any listeners out anywhere near like South Bend, Goshen, Indiana, please rescue me next year around between Christmas and New Year's. Because like there's nothing out there. Bars are closed. It's yeah. So you can't see this, but I'm doing the hailing sign. give me some help next time I'm in Indiana.
But in that part of Indiana, you can see that hailing sign from like 20 miles away.
Yeah,
You can
it's
see a guy doing
flat. It's bad.
I feel like we've done some other Masonic stuff, because I know that I've seen you guys more than...
Well, you
a
had
few
the
times.
class. You had the district deputies.
That's right.
Movie
Workshop.
class. Yeah.
Yeah, so Saturday we had the annual, new officer. And I think that's where a lot of this material that you're going to talk about later, Larry Hudson had posted a picture of that in the Lamberton Facebook page, but a lot of that was the district deputies as well. What else? There's Goose and Gridiron. We've had a couple Goose and Gridirons. And Pete, you and I did some... Oh, we went to a funeral. That wasn't
That
necessarily
wasn't a Masonic funeral,
but
no.
Unfortunately, we had a friend of ours who passed away way too young. And so we
And I will say that Masonically tomorrow, here at my house, we're doing a Lamberton Lodge Education Committee meeting.
Oh, nice.
And Hatar is sending over pizza, a get well pizza for me.
Mahar?
Mahar, yeah.
You just changed his name.
No, it's Mahar Hatar.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I'm a Navy man, last name only.
Okay. So I guess if that's the week that was,
A couple weeks it was, yeah.
so we'll take a quick break and we're going to come back with our topic, and I'm going to shorten it for everybody. Mentoring.
The Red Serpent by Larry Maris. One man's obsession to avenge the death of his wife uncovers a long-hidden, ancient blueprint to perfect the world for future generations. Visit www.larrymaris.com. you can purchase this book anywhere except CVS.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're back here at Larry's dining room table. And today's topic is going to be mentoring. So, before we get into things that I guess we should do and that other people are doing, how about this, Larry? Since we'll go in year of being made a Mason, what kind of mentoring was there for you when you became a Mason in South Carolina?
The mentoring that I went through essentially was a catechism class, twice a week for each degree until, 30 days, of course, twice a week up until we went to our next degree. And at that point in time, prior to receiving the next degree, we went into open lodge and we were questioned by the body of the lodge as to the knowledge of that degree we already received. Then we went back in, got dressed, and came in and got our degrees. So that was the only mentoring I really had. That was it. Learning the craft and learning the ritual. Not having to memorize it, but having to know it and be questioned by a brother on it. And that was it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that catechism actually kind of takes place it's scripted, right? So when you go in, they ask a question and you have...
It's scripted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just have the general idea. I mean, you have to know the answer verbatim.
You have to know the answer, yes.
It's a series of questions and answers, which is why we have the phrase, giving somebody the third degree.
Interesting.
I became chaplain right after that, so I was an appointed officer of the lodge right after that. So basically, any mentoring I would have had would probably be one-on-one individual by our lodge secretary, Charlie Downey, who was my barber and our secretary.
Am I number 2 at 20 years? I'm at 97. I joined. Yeah, nothing. That's easy.
Yeah.
There was no mentoring for me. I went to my 3 meetings. My buddy, who was my first line signer, called me up. I said, make sure you're here. Make sure you're wearing this. And then I think before my second and third degrees, he did work with me for a half an hour in the car to learn the grips. That was it for my mentoring.
In the car on your way to the meeting.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
How about you, Jack?
Well, being a one-day wonder, there wasn't anything between... Well, there was something between degrees, but it wasn't... It was the first year of the one-day classes in Pennsylvania in 2004. So it wasn't real elaborate. It wasn't very complete. But what our lodge was doing at the time for people that came through the traditional way was they would get together for one afternoon for about an hour and just review the grip dialogue, and that was most of what we got. So those of you from outside of Pennsylvania, we don't have to learn really anything in Pennsylvania to progress, other than the dialogue that you share with the master at the altar, the grip dialogue. But there is no oath and obligation. There is no catechism. It's just show up and listen. So it's very different than most of the other states.
So Jason, you're the most recent, and you went to the oldest lodge in the county.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any?
One of the oldest in the States. Just saying.
Yeah. So did you have any? Mentoring when you got in?
I did, and I don't know if my situation is different than most of our candidates coming in now, but my good friend, who I spent a lot of time with, anyways, was my mentor. And I've told this story a couple times in our podcast, but at the time, him and I were also doing some side work together. So we would travel on the weekends. He had a side subcontracting job, and he subcontracted me to help. So we would spend...
So you're a sub?
Yeah, I was a sub. I guess he was a contractor, and I was the subcontractor. It doesn't matter. But we would spend 36 hours in the car together, and we would talk about, what happened in the first degree, what happened in the second degree. And then, I think that when I got my first degree... In the car, we were talking about the first degree, and then I was learning the guide work for the first degree before I was even
first base with your buddy in the car.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
So by the time I was raised, I was already on the notice as Tyler, and I think I guided immediately that next month.
Nice.
But we ran out of things to talk about. We would talk about the first degree, and so I was learning my oath and obligation and the guide work, and before I was even fellowcraft, because we saw each other so much. As far as formal mentoring, though, like our lodge, similar to what your guys' lodges do, Ephrata and Lamberton, we have a little bit more rigid class that you have to attend. And Grand Lodge sends out 20 questions in a little pamphlet, and we make sure that we go through those 20 questions, and then if there's any time left at the class, every teacher is a little bit different, but we kind of go through that. But we have an additional fellowship committee that helps plug people in, get them helping out with dinners, once they become Master Masons, like getting them involved in
So
committees.
important. That's yeah.
And our fellowship committee kind of serves as the information desk. But like for you guys, you have mentor programs where your mentor program is combined, and for us, we're still a little separated. We have our education committee. You have a mandatory class before you can progress to your next degree. But then we also have the fellowship committee that kind of pulls these guys into the fold. And
So, Larry, you were one of the people that started this for Lamberton, weren't you?
Yeah.
So,
well, there were
what's the
three of us: Dick Cannon, Jim Tolley, and myself.
Okay, so how did that come about when we started that?
Actually, Ron Carson, who was the worshipful master at the time, asked us, along with our educational committee work, if we would do mentoring as well, because he saw a similarity there, and let's join them together, which is what we did. And at that particular time, Grand Lodge came out with that handbook. So it was perfect timing. And we would use the handbook basically for each of the degrees that the guys had came into, and review past work with them, and then worked with them on the grips that they were going to get into the next degree. And it worked out well. But Jim Tolley, the historian, has at least a good 30 to 45 minute presentation he gives to every mentoring meeting about the history of Freemasonry, all the way back to the Knights of the Templar, to the Civil War.
And he does it all with a Long Island
Yes,
accent.
he does. Yes, he does. And I'm telling you, guys are sitting there and they're enthralled. So I say Jim Tolley's probably been the primary sponsor for doing the mentoring committee and making it go as well as it is.
And how do you feel? I mean, I see a lot more young folks, or when I say young, newer members.
Yeah.
At the meetings.
Brother Cannock called the other night. We had our last lodge meeting last Tuesday. And he called me on Thursday night, or Friday night it was. And he talked to me. We had a lengthy conversation. And he told me about it. He said, he feels really great. They were at the meeting, and he said about 55% of all the attendees in our regular stated meeting were all new people.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
He looked at the officers. We have 4 new guys that came through within the past year and a half that are sitting in chairs. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. And we are getting, not that we really care or we need it, we're getting a lot of recognition from the old timers when they see the results of what we're doing. You, Jack, do a lot of mentoring at your lodge.
Yeah.
Are they coming back? Are they...
Yeah, some of them do. I mean, it's kind of like, I think, every organization that everybody's been a part of, you get 10 new people and 1 or 2 of them are going to really stick. And, whether my mentoring or our mentoring makes the difference, I'm not really willing to say, but it just, we don't get them connected the way we should. We don't fellowship the way we should. We don't get together outside of lodge the way we should. We don't treat the widows the way we should. There's so much that's missing from what we should be doing. And I think if we did more of that, the mentoring would
come
really,
naturally.
Yeah, because you'd be with people and you'd be talking about them and asking questions and that kind of thing. And I just I do the mentoring because I didn't get any, right? So for me, it was a vacuum, and I needed to know what this was because I knew it had to be more than. In fact, I left my second stated meeting and I said I could get this at a PTA meeting. Why am I here? What is this? So I knew there had to be more to it than what I was getting out of it, and I started digging. And I'll throw a website. Can I plug a website? It's not even mine, and I don't even care.
Sure,
but
sure.
One of the best Masonic websites that I have come across is freemasons-freemasonry.com. And if you haven't been on it, it comes up as Peter Stones. If you haven't been on it, this website is redunculous. You could type in the search box any Masonic topic, slipper, boom, 27 scholarly articles on the slipper. Any subject is in there, and that's where I went. I don't know how I found it, but I found it, and I just started digging. And that was my mentoring class, was just going through that website and just.
The word for the night is redunculous.
Thank you very much.
That's a Masonic term.
It's actually Greek.
So,
But how will you come to a knowledge of that word?
by slipping and falling on it. So we feel now. One of the things that people kept telling me and it used to always make me angry, is they always say, now the first line signer, you need to be responsible for this person.
How's that working?
And to me, that was one thing. It gave the other 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people in your lodge a pass not to help. The other thing, for somebody like me, and I've probably signed up 50 plus men, maybe 100, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of guys that have gotten into the Masons because they know me. You might not believe this, but I'm actually a quite popular person. It's scary, but I know a lot of people, and I don't hide the fact that I'm a Freemason. So a lot of people who I'm not really close with, but they might be like a Facebook friend, or they might be somebody I knew at work or at college. Like, I'm the guy they seem to come to when they say, hey, I'd like to become a Freemason. And I give them the paperwork and I kind of explain to them what's going on. But just because I'm the guy that happens to know a lot of people, I don't want to have to adopt every single one of these guys, because I'd have somebody in the system every month. You know? So, I, for one, am very happy about this mentoring program because it's getting me off the hook a little bit.
Yeah, one of the things, too, that I think Jim Tolley does that I don't know if other people do, he calls everybody. He's on the phone. If you're being mentored from the time we begin mentoring before they get their first degree, they come to a meeting. Then after they get their first, second, and before they get their third, then after they get their third, we bring them in for another mentoring session and teaching them the word in order how to visit and travel other lodges. And they actually end up 5 sessions with us. And Jim, I bet she's on the phone with them 15, 20 times.
That's great.
In that whole period of time. The thing with him is he likes doing it, so he does it.
Right, you have to love it, right?
You have to really love it to do it. Yeah.
And as cheese ball as your breakfasts are, the grease and gridiron thing.
Cruise?
Wait,
What did you say about it?
Cheese ball, I think was the word.
But you show up.
It's redunculous.
Once a month I show up, whether I want to or not. But I see these younger guys. Like Ben
Walker.
purewaterpa.com.
Yeah.
Ben.
Good job.
Ben was coming to these meetings, these breakfasts, when he was just entered apprentice. So by the time he got to be a master mason, he was already like our personal friend. Mm-hmm. Like he, not just a guy I know from lodge. I mean, once you've broken bread with somebody 2 or 3 times, hey, you can't help it. You're friends.
Close enough to bum money from him at that point.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we're going to take a quick break. Oh my goodness, Larry. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, talk a little bit more about mentoring.
Hi, this is Brother Doug Jaquith from Lancaster Lodge 43. When I'm patrolling the mean streets of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, I'm streaming the Masonic Light podcast in my squad car. You're doing a great job, guys. Keep on putting out the awesome shows.
And we're back. We're here at the Masonic Light Podcast discussing
Episode
mentoring.
22.
Episode 22.
Whoa.
Discussing mentoring. So Larry, let's go and get into what we think some things that a good mentoring program has. And we were discussing off microphone, but knowing Jason, he probably has it actually literally has it on microphone.
Depends how much you swore.
A good mentoring program is going to make your lodge healthy and successful and grow.
Correct. Yeah.
So what are some aspects do you think are for a good mentoring program should have?
A good bottle of Ron Zacapa.
No, there it
rum.
went. Attaboy.
No, I'm sorry. All right.
Except in Pennsylvania.
Except in Pennsylvania. I think there are basics that they need to have. And essentially what I like to do is make every member, even all the old timers, aware of new people coming in. I think one of the things that mentoring committee does, and I think we do it at Lambert, we do it well, we bring new people in. We're there as they come to their first stated meeting, and we're introducing them around. We're having them, they end up sitting at tables and breaking bread with some of the older members. And we have older members that are really a little bit more outgoing maybe than other lodges. I don't know for sure. There's always cliques. But the new guy comes in and inserts himself into that. They take him into the clique. I mean, it's not
They have to feel welcome.
Yeah.
If they come to a meeting and feel like a stranger in a strange land, they're not coming back. So yeah, start by making them welcome. That's yeah.
Bye, Carol.
Bye, Carol.
Open the garage door.
Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
I don't know if that'll make it.
Oh, no. We'll carry the microphone over there.
We'll sing Masonic songs while you're doing that.
So one of the topics, I guess we'll let Jack expound on this, is...
Ooh, I love to expound.
One of the things we had mentioned during our break was just the different culture in different lodges. Maybe not just the different culture, the different age makeup, the different, everything.
Right.
Demographics.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
There you go.
Sorry,
Second word for the day. Vocab. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Every lodge is different by nature, and to put one mentoring program out and say, this is the silver bullet of all mentoring programs, and your lodge must do this. I just don't think it really can work, because every lodge has different resources. They have different people. They have different structure, different building. I mean, sometimes it matters how the building feels. Is it a comfortable place, or do you want to meet somewhere else, or do you want to really explore the symbols that are on the walls in the lodge, or down at the Lancaster Masonic Center, they've got a great set of cases full of Masonic memorabilia and stuff, and I would think it would be fun to kind of walk through that stuff. And
I know we have 6 cases for tall cedars, and we don't even meet the building.
Yeah.
So.
Here's our 15 past masters jewels.
But but each lodge has its own collection of people. It has its own history, and it has its own future, and it's important to fit the mentoring program to the lodge as well as to the candidate. But I think what Larry said earlier about making them feel welcome,
so
that is so important. Connected. You Jason, you said something about the social committee gets them connected in where they're doing picnics or golf outings or whatever, and
yeah,
it's so important, because what is it if it's not getting to know people?
Our
Years ago, the word connected didn't mean good things necessarily, but being a fraternity, connected is okay.
That was a different kind of connected back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, our fellowship committee, they're and it's led by Ed McGrath, who is he was a district manager for years, and he loves any kind of leadership program, and he loves PowerPoint and bullet points, but what he does is his primary focus.
TPS reports.
Yeah, TPS reports. The mission, if there was a mission statement of our fellowship committee, it would be to make new members get their Master Builders Award. So for you non-Pennsylvania Masons, Pennsylvania a couple years ago rolled out this Master Builders program that has a list of almost 20 different criteria that you have to fulfill within your first year. And it involves traveling to other lodges, being involved in your lodge, going to a youth group event, doing some online learning, and you have to meet all these criteria, and it really, really plugs you in. So Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania did a good job doing that, but our fellowship committee, like Lamberton and Ephrata, like I said before, you guys kind of have a singular mentor program, committee, mentoring team. We have a mandatory education class taught typically by past masters, but then the fellowship committee kind of serves as the information desk. But I think that the real success, at least in our lodge, is that it's not 1950 anymore. I mean, communication is a lot different. It's very easy to be plugged in outside of the building. We have Facebook groups, we have guys that get together for breakfast, and I think a lot of the information that we share, we pick up as mentorship, is you don't have to be sitting right next to somebody
Podcasts
anymore to be and I mean that's more informational, but I think that does spark conversation and an interest in learning. But it's Jack Aquilina is a great example of this. We've never met him in the flesh, and he's one of our closest friends at this point, and we would never have been able to do that years ago. I mean, the Masonic world is getting smaller and smaller, just like your normal social world is getting smaller and smaller.
I think it's neat, when we're saying different lodges have a different feel, different demographics.
Each lodge is a snowflake.
Yeah, sort of.
Easy now.
Just like most brothers' feelings.
But yeah, I mean, I give my example of bars and churches. Like well, in the series, like in Lancaster.
That's you in a nutshell, Pete.
Right.
Bars and churches.
Like in Lancaster County, there's maybe 300 plus places that have liquor licenses. So in 300 places, I could pretty much go and get the same shot of whiskey or a macro brew that I want. But there's really only a few that I really like to go to, even though they all have the same things. Same thing if you're a church type person, you can go, we'll just use a Christian church just because that's, I don't know, my frame of reference. But I could go to 20 different Catholic churches and 18 of them probably not feel warm and welcome. But somewhere I might make a connection with somebody. So, that's with lodges too. You got to get these guys when they come in, even if they don't blend, even if as well as you try, you also need to kind of educate them and say, listen, move around. The thing about Freemasonry, traveling, if you go and do more things, you'll eventually find your place in Freemasonry. Whether it's one of the appendant bodies, whether it's your lodge, maybe it's with another lodge. I know our lodge has a different feel than Lodge 43, and we meet in the same building.
So, all right, I got a question.
So you should ask your question.
I'm going to
Jason.
ask this question.
Do that.
I feel like the retention of these new guys when they come in and they go through the mentoring program and they get introduced to the fellowship committee, and almost all of, at least in my lodge, almost all of them come through. We got the exceptions of the guys that couldn't make our Masonic education class, so their mentor or their friend does it privately and they sign off on them as getting their education. Do you think, I kind of feel a disconnect when I do, sometimes I teach the Masonic education, and, I'm at a point in my life where, I'm about equidistance between the young guys coming in and equidistance of the older guys coming in. I kind of fall in an age between the two of them.
Right, you're physically young, but you feel like the old guys.
Yeah. But I feel like we still get a better bang for our buck out of the young guys. Like, for some reason, when we talk about esoterics, I feel like the younger guys really like that, and the older guys kind of glaze over.
Absolutely.
And they glaze
Absolutely.
over.
Yes.
So, I guess my question is, how can we tailor our mentoring? Yeah, I know everybody's motivated by nobody's motivated by the same thing. When I was a general manager, one guy was motivated by money, one guy was motivated by whatever, and
So
How do you get them all?
All right, so there's an old chestnut that in Freemasonry we make good men better, right? We don't make good men better. We give good men an environment in which they can make themselves better. But we don't necessarily spoon it in, right? You've got to want to improve. And if you don't want to improve, no dues card or ring or hat or pin is going to make you a better man. So, of the 10 people that we'll bring into Lodge next year, there might be 2 that really care about making themselves better men.
Well, it's the Pareto's principle, 80-20 rule.
Pareto principle.
Yeah, 80-20 rule. So
What's the name of that? I know
Pareto, right?
Pareto, yeah.
Pareto. I mean, I know about the 80-20 rule, but I never.
But yeah, so I mean, you know.
Hang on. I wish we had a video. Listen, Captain Jack, what's going on over there?
Larry, if you get your finger stuck in that bottle, I know there's a cork in there.
At first,
You can't get it out.
At first, I thought he was just trying to figure out if there was any more rum in there.
Those of you at
enough rum in
home
that
think
cork.
monkeys and footballs, but insert a rum bottle instead. There you go.
Oh, Lord.
There's no more. There's no more rum.
Suck that cork.
That's what I thought.
Oh, my word.
That's exactly what I was trying to do.
So, I mean, you get what I'm saying? It's just not... You're right. It's 80-20. It might even be 90-10.
And you had said it in our last episode, too, and I really thought about it after the show.
What?
Yeah, like, you know, you used it in the part of, like, philanthropy and fundraising and doing good deeds. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, we're not going to make somebody become a generous person. But I do think the Freemasons, you know, generous people come to us and join us. Mm-hmm. So if you're the kind of person who likes to volunteer and do social work and do things like that, hey, you know, you might be pulled to a Masonic lodge, or you might be pulled to other kind of organizations that do that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we're not going to take the regular guy and make them become a philanthropist.
Right, but it coming back to the concept of mentoring, you know, how do we get that across to the new Masons? And I think that's where a lot of us, you know, you talk about how many presidents, how many signers of the Declaration, and how much, and, you know, what have you done for me lately? What's Freemasonry doing in the world today? You know, what are you going to take out of this lodge onto the street? You know, think about the closing charge at every stated meeting you've ever been to, that you're to take these principles further. Every human being has a claim upon your kind offices, right? So these are the words that we teach in those meetings, and how many people actually put them inside of them.
You know, I don't think we do a good enough job of standing up and before, you know, a charge and say, you know, this is the charge. I think we've got a great mentoring program, we've got a great education program, but we never say these charges. You know, charge means this is what you have been tasked to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, charge might be an old English word, and, you know, it took me a while for me to figure out, oh, like, this is what I'm supposed to do now.
Hello.
You know, like, okay, great, I got this degree, and now here's what I need you to do.
Yeah.
This is your task. The charges are great.
And how can we expect them to inculcate those principles if they don't learn the words? I mean, and not everybody's going to go out and memorize, you know, 3 hours of monologue. But there's certain aspects of those charges that you should be able to discuss intelligently the charge of the second degree. If you're a Mason, if you're a fellowcraft and you're passing to or being raised, you should be able to discuss that charge. And as I'm talking about this may redefine my mentoring class a little bit.
My wheels are turning.
Because those charges that you get in those degrees, that's the core of it.
That's just important as
essence.
and it's just as important as your obligation.
Right.
Well, I came across a thread on Facebook today, and somebody posted some message they had received from some, like, anti-Masonic person.
No, that never happens.
And, like, linking Freemasonry to Satanism or something, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I don't know because all the states are a little bit different. And I guess our charges are written for Pennsylvania. So you've got the third degree down the best of all of us. In the charge at raising, isn't, I'm going to paraphrase, but basically like, just ignore the people that are talking bad about Freemasonry.
That's
like,
a first degree, actually.
Oh, don't get into
You're
arguments.
not to engage in quarrels with those who, through ignorance, speak evilly or despitefully of it.
There we go.
Right.
Yeah. So I said.
So just don't.
Yeah. Just ignore it.
Yeah. You'll never convince somebody that what his pastor told him is wrong. Never. In a million years. So don't even try. You're pushing a wet rope.
Or give him a petition.
Right. And I got one of those the other day on Facebook. You know, somebody threw something out because my profile picture is me in the big Edith Ann chair at Grand Lodge, and I said something, and you know, he insulted me by calling me a Mason, and I just had to laugh because it was like, thanks, because I know what this means and you don't. So if you'd like to know, it's easy. Ask for a petition and, you know, find out.
I've never had a naysayer come at me on Facebook or personally, but I get a message every now and then that's like, hey, I want to talk to you sometime about this. I mean, I see your pictures about Lodge. I see you talk about it. You guys have such a great time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we joke about in the First Masonic District about Masonry on display, which I know has more of a meaning of parades and, you know, doing social work and feeding meals to at soup kitchens. But I mean, I really think that just our normal social interactions is more powerful than anything.
We had a fella join our lodge a couple of years ago, and he's been stuck in a sword chair for a while, and he's just said, okay, I think I want to progress. And he said, and his friend contacted us and said, I don't know what happened to him, but I want some of that. How do I do that? So it's just going out and shining the light.
Yeah. I mean, none of us at this table hide the fact that we're Freemasons. We post pictures of what we're allowed to and when we go somewhere. And you know, there's a lot of things we do that are legitimately fun. Like, I actually had a good time the other night at that past masters meeting. At somewhere around about 10 minutes after the cheesecake, I think I had enough.
Sugar crash, yeah.
I had
Sugar
enough,
crash.
and I just kind of just threw the sign at the table and just slunk off to my car and left before everybody else.
I think the word was bounce.
Yeah.
Were you guys tiled?
Irish exit.
No.
I did an Irish exit.
Irish exit.
Nice. So Larry's over there. He needs to re-up his pain pills.
Basically, I think what I can safely say after hearing this conversation, and I'm sure the brothers out there who are listening to this can safely say that mentoring is something that is fluid. It's forever changing. I think in this day and age, getting better each year. Mm-hmm. And I think that we grow as members, as our mentoring grows and new members come in, we grow with their knowledge as well. So it's an ongoing, fluid thing. There is no set mentoring in concrete. Even though we're stonemasons and we design the best in the world, it's still fluid.
I'm a free and accepted Mason. You can be a stonemason.
Yeah, I haven't laid a brick in my entire life.
Other than basketball or bathrooms.
Yeah. So, but speaking of past master night, we should probably hear from our good friend and recent past master, Seth Anthony, about some other fraternal organizations.
In Obscurum Ventriculicum. I don't know, what's the name of his piece?
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Finkel.
Corpora Obscurum.
Corpora Obscurum.
And then, do we have news, or are we going to come back with some news?
I have some that's dreadful, but I'll read it.
Oh, okay.
And then we're also are we going to have Brother on the Street or not? That got lost. We lose the tape.
Yeah, I don't know. We have like Brother lost in the woods somewhere. I don't know.
All right, we'll be right back.
You're about to enter
Corpora Obscurum,
the realm of weird fraternal organizations.
Leave your Freemasonry behind.
Prepare to meet druids, caliphs, and wild creatures.
Knock thrice.
And enter at your own risk.
Shh. I see you there, Masonic Light podcast listener. Don't interrupt the sacred grove. On today's Obscura Corporum, we're going to talk about some druids. The United Ancient Order of Druids was one of the earliest fraternal groups to hit the scene. Founded in 1771 in London, England, it was only 2 years later that the group formed a Grand Lodge of its own. The first lodge in the Americas was chartered in 1830 in New York, New York. However, the area that would become the greatest supporter wouldn't see a local grove until 1858, when the first grove was chartered in California. Like many fraternal organizations, the Druids resembled Freemasonry, working several side degrees and forming many different dependent organizations. More information on Druidism can be found on the site of the Marin County Historical Society. It appears that Druid groves still exist in parts of California and Nevada, with at least 3 groves in California. But the group was reported to have less than 6,500 members by the middle of the 20th century. The Druidic family is composed of 3 separate bodies, groves being the Brotherhood, circles known as the Sisterhood, and the chapters known as the Fun Branch. A member of the Brotherhood branch can in due time join the Sisterhood, however, a member of the Sisterhood cannot join the Brotherhood. Both members of the Brotherhood and Sisterhood are eligible to join the chapter branch. All 3 branches of the Druidic fraternity claim a root in antiquity, and each branch has its own moral precepts. Several pieces of Druids regalia can be found online at the Museum of Fezology under the Fraternal section. Visit fezmuseum.com to learn more.
And we're back after the mute button has been turned back.
So was the mute button on for like 40 minutes of the show?
No, we're good.
So that was Seth Anthony talking about the ancient order of druids and some Dungeons and Dragons and
elves and nymphs.
Right.
Nymphs.
So that sounds like fun.
I just don't want to see Pete Ruggieri dancing naked in the woods.
I will.
Yeah.
I learned about the poison ivy. Don't roll it. Just do not roll in it.
Didn't you want to put a disclaimer out there if anybody?
Yeah. So if anybody listening can get me the hookup, I'd love to be a member in the Bohemian Grove. You know what I'm talking about.
Doesn't really exist.
We'll hang out by the owl. That's what only thing I want to join. Brother Jack, do we have anything in Masonic news this week?
Good news, everyone!
Masonic Light News. News not fit to print.
Well, this week in Masonic news, Massachusetts Freemason brother Peter B. Wanker has filed a complaint with the civil authorities claiming emotional distress and loss of self-esteem, citing a recent lodge meeting at which he was the only member present not officially recognized by the worshipful master.
It was 11:45 and everybody wanted to go home, but golly, it just isn't fair.
Mr. Wanker was given an apology and a petition to join Eastern Star. In an effort to more accurately reflect the fabric of Freemasonry, the Grand Lodge of Ohio has announced it will replace the traditional square and compasses with a knife and fork. We just felt it would display some of the tools we're more familiar with, said Grand Lecturer William Smucker. In further comment, Senior Warden Otis Spunkmeyer commented, "The guys really know their way around a piece of pie." I guess that makes sense. And finally, Brother Aaron Dewright, almoner of Charity Lodge number 65, was suspended when it was determined that he didn't really know what an almoner was supposed to do. Brother Dewright allegedly used lodge funds to purchase over 700 pounds of lightly salted almonds. When the expense was discovered during an annual lodge audit, the master was heard to say, "Oh, that's why we do audits." When questioned about the debacle, Brother Dewright said,
"Well, I just thought I was doing the right thing."
And that's the Masonic news. So mote it was.
Hey there, listeners. This is Pete, and I wanted to tell you about MasonicScarves.com. Masonic Scarves offers full-color, knitted soccer-style scarves, perfect for you to wear to lodge, out casually, or even to display in your home. I currently have in our lineup pretty much every Masonic body from Blue Lodge, York Rite, Scottish Rite, Grotto, Shrine. If you think about it, I probably have it. Are you a turtle? Well, you bet your sweet ass I have a scarf for that. So you can easily order online with a credit card, and I'll generally have your scarf in the mail the next business day. Do you need an easy fundraiser for your lodge or organization? I can have a custom scarf design delivered to you in about 4 weeks, as long as you order a minimum of 50 pieces. I can help you with the artwork, and you'll have an original item that you can sell or hand out as a gift for visitors or past masters. Visit MasonicScarves.com or drop me an email at info@MasonicScarves, and I'll be glad to help you.
Oh, the Grand Almonder.
Oh, I didn't mean to laugh so hard during your segment, but that
It wasn't that funny.
No, it was the guy.
I mean, like, let's be honest.
It was the name. It was the name, and I couldn't. Do you want?
Whatever it takes.
Do you want to do it again so you don't?
Peter
have
Wanker.
No, hear my laugh?
I'd rather have the laugh. Gotta have the laugh.
Well, time to close the show, I believe.
I guess. Yeah.
Oh, God. I want to use the restroom. Larry, go ahead.
Okay.
Wait, no. I did have one serious question. We got on a tangent in the last segment.
Oh, we got to say what we're doing first.
Yeah, but before that, so Jack, you were talking about. I asked a question of what do you think that we can do to bridge the gap in our mentoring that will reach both the young and the older guys? And we got off on a tangent. We didn't answer it. Don't sigh, Larry. I am curious to.
I think Larry has to pee though. That is the problem.
I need to take my pain pills.
Diuretic.
What the bridge between the young and the old? That's a tough thing anyway, because there's some old guys that are young at heart and are fun.
Me, for example.
Yes, and then there's some young guys who have sticks up their butts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there's a place in Freemasonry for all of them.
That's right.
And there's probably a podcast for all of them. But
if there's not, there will be.
Right. So I don't know. I just think mentoring needs to be something interesting to keep that person interested in lodge and coming back. And we're not trying to teach them. We're just trying to teach them how to learn. Kind of like...
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a wealth of things in Freemasonry for them to hunt down and find their niche. And I can't teach them everything, but I can teach them how to look for it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So how about that?
Awesome. High five.
We fixed Freemasonry.
Woo!
Woohoo! All right,
so what's next week?
What do we have going on over the next week or two? I think a couple of us are going to go to Jack's Lodge tomorrow night.
State of meeting. Yep.
What's for dinner? I heard there's a free meal.
I don't know, but we have dinner at 6. So anybody listening, it's already over. But dinner at
for next month.
Next second Tuesday every month. Effort of PA. So we're gonna have a state of meeting, and it's amateur night, so all the newbies will be in their chairs.
Is it always free? Are the meals always free?
The meal is sponsored by the lodge. We ask for a donation to the scholarship fund.
Gotcha.
Larry, are you going to do anything over the next month other than to heal?
Well, other than heal, no. I'm probably I'm going to Grotto on the 29th.
Outstanding.
I will be at Grotto.
Will you be by yourself?
We will have medicine for you.
Someone's going to come get me.
It's only one exit away for you now, Larry.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my God, you could walk.
But
that's right.
True story. It's the 22nd. That was a typo you saw. It's the
29th, isn't it?
No, it's the fourth Saturday.
Fourth Sunday.
Why hasn't anybody corrected that? What?
It has been corrected.
It has been?
Yeah,
Yes.
you has been. What?
It has been.
I don't know.
'Cause the
That
fifth
I don't,
Sunday
I
is
don't know
AMD,
that I'll
so-
be there then on the 22nd. Okay, I don't really get released from this crap until January 27th.
We will kidnap you and drag you to the meeting. And that's all there is to it.
Maybe I'll go. Yeah.
So what do you
I'll
have?
get
You
Brother
have anything
Kennedy
going on,
to pick
Jack?
me up.
Well, state of meeting tomorrow. I have this month. We don't have any extra meetings this month, which is rare for Effort at Lodge. We have Grotto, which I'm in some kind of chair in Grotto. I'm not even sure which one. And AMD on Sunday, the fifth Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool thing.
Let's see what I have going on. This Friday night I
Are you
have...
actually looking at your calendar?
Yeah. This Saturday I've got a day I'm spending with an organization that is not Masonic.
And does not exist.
It does not exist. Let's see. I've got Council on the 18th. Royal Arch on the 19th.
Which I will miss, by the way.
Tall Cedars Midwinter Conference, if anybody's a Tall Cedar, is at the Lancaster Host on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Bring your own food.
I'll be there. Yeah, don't eat.
Don't eat the fish.
Yeah, I'll be there selling scarves. If anyone wants to come see me buy a scarf. And then somehow or other, we're also doing we're doing a lot. Grotto and AMD. So, yeah. Is that it?
A good time will be had by all. Jason, what about you?
Goose and Gridiron. Well, maybe not this week, but Goose and Gridiron will be happening. And Lodge of Perfection, an officer in Lodge of Perfection. So when I leave here, I'm going to go to that officer meeting and then stated meeting for Lodge of Perfection next week. Lodge 43 has their stated meeting on Wednesday. I don't know if I'll see you tomorrow night because Tuesday night is my get all the minutes and the stuff together for the meeting the following day, but maybe I'll come up and see you. Free meal, that speaks to my belly. And I don't know what else. Oh, and then 43 has a Past Masters dinner that's always the Saturday after the first stated meeting of the year. Yeah, I know.
Before the blue moon.
But similar to what you guys just did in a different region.
Except
district.
Except the fun will be stripped away from it.
Well, it's a good meal because we'll be eating steak, prime rib. But we always have a Past Masters dinner that all the Past Masters come and basically have a private meeting with the incoming master. They go over the budget and the upcoming year. The officers get to come and listen to that as well.
That sounds like a blast.
Well, free meal.
It's not how we did it my year.
Yep. Grotto, etc., etc.
Larry.
Yes.
Wrap us up and get us out of here.
Yeah, it's getting old.
I know. I'm finally telling, just go. Yeah. Do it.
All right. Special thanks to Monarch Studios, which we haven't been with in the past 2 months. But I want to make sure, and you've been posting pictures. The remodeled studios downstairs are awesome. They're going to be fantastic. And don't leave before I give you a check, Mr. P. Okay, it's awesome. Also to our producer and co-host, Jason Lewis. Jack Harley, our news director. R.C. McCorby, brother on the street. Do we have anything written tonight?
No, we lost that in translation.
Oh, okay. And Seth Anthony for his insight into fraternities that we had no freaking idea ever existed.
Dark bodies.
Yes. Also to our audience response advisor, Luke Warren, our grammar consultant, I am Shirley Wright, and in recognition of our new law firm who's still with us, Hammer, and Boom.
Our new law firm that's
still with us. Yeah, they're new. And we have a habit of changing law firms at least once a month, we go wherever we can get it free for the month. Now that you know that, this is Larry Maris,
Jack Harley,
Pete Ruggieri,
Jason Lewis,
and we're out of here.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Should be cups there too.
I just want water.
Are there cups there?
With some rum.
Blue cups? Hey, Carol! What? Where the hell are the cups?
He's blind.
Oh, right there.
Never mind, we got them.
Now, I know our lodge has a definite different feel than Lodge 43, and we meet in the same building. So.
Dead air. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm distracted by my tablet computer. I'm sorry.
So, I had a question that's gone. I lost it in the dead air.
Freemason brother Peter B. Wanker has filed a complaint with the civil authorities claiming emotional distress and loss of self-esteem. Citing a recent lodge meeting at which he was the only member present.